Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some really big PlayStation 5 news when it comes to the brand new, one of the most sold IPs on the PlayStation ecosystem is now finally maybe getting its next game. This is also in regards now to The Last of Us Part 3, and as well, we also saw some pretty big exclusive leaks coming out too as well. Now, if you guys may have missed a lot of the news, there's been like a lot of murmurs and discussions, data leaking and all of that when it comes to some Xbox exclusive games that might be being mitigated over to PlayStation. So we actually found even more news on top of that. So we have a pretty good video for just general gaming PlayStation news. So if you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below. We'll probably be live up on Twitch tonight if you guys are bored. We also have the Webull link. We add that back up. If you guys go and deposit any type of money at all, you guys go get a bunch of money back, get like $100 in free stocks. So if you guys want to, the link down below. A lot of you folks have been doing it, so thank you guys for that. And of course, let's go dive on into the video itself. So as you guys have probably been seeing a lot in the news, PlayStation's been kind of going big on a lot of their, well, somewhat well-known IPs. Think God of War, think Last of Us, who actually just had their Part 2 remake, remaster, just get re-released not too long ago, a few weeks ago, and as well, they had the TV show, the God of War TV show, we had the Uncharted movies, and basically they're kind of just like, hey, it's working, let's let it keep on cooking, and we go from there. But a lot of folks have been kind of curious on what's going to be happening to The Last of Us IP ever since the multiplayer project seemingly and pretty much confirmedly did end up getting, well, done. Like, as of this point, I do believe there's a few folks that might be still casually working on it, but at this point, the project's pretty much fully done in terms of them being like, hey, we'll maybe put in the back burner, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be seen the light of day or the priority as of this point. But a lot of folks are kind of curious on what's going to happen with the continuation of The Last of Us story. And right now we have a very kind of cool clip I want to show you guys over here when it comes to Neil Druckmann confirming and talking about the fact of The Last of Us Part 3. Now, I do believe this is kind of coming over here from like the most recent Last of Us like making of and kind of like a somewhat docu style, but I want you guys to go and be very fine-tuned on some of the wording he has going on over here. So I'm going to go and shut up here for a second and kind of chime in when I have a chance to. We have a lot more to talk about throughout this video, but this one is pretty big, I would say, in the PlayStation ecosystem.
Where we were, I didn't want to prioritize this story, so that story was shelved. And I still believe one day it will see the light of day. I don't know if it'll be a game or a show, TBD. First game, it's
so something also I want to tie into, like, some people are curious about, like, the Tommy character in The Last of Us. He's going to have his own spin-off show, be tied into other prior games, do, like, a prequel. Some folks are maybe want to have, like, a Last of Us Part 0 and kind of explain out the characters and kind of get into some more backstory and all of that. And as well, some folks are maybe saying, like, think like a spin-off. Think like The Mandalorian when it comes to, like, just the story seems good. Why not go and maybe invest into this the same ecosystem and world, but have the characters also be involved, or separate characters that aren't been, like, prioritized in the games or the movies or TV shows.
Such a clean concept of like the unconditional love a parent feels for their child. The second one, once we landed on this idea of the pursuit of justice at any cost, justice for the ones you love, it felt like, oh, there's a clean concept here, and there's a through line from the first game about love. If we never get to do it again, this is a fine ending point. And right, last bite of the apple, the story's done. The great thing about working at Naughty Dog is that we don't have to.
So, okay, two things I want to go and super highlight right there. Number one, basically them saying, hey, if we had to stop Last of Us Part 2, we could be done. Like, the story was somewhat ended. If you guys ever played the game, you guys probably understand. But basically, like, the idea behind it is that the story, if you want to end it there, it's open for interpretation, it's open-winded, but at the same time, it could be done. But the one words that you literally just said, the one nice thing about our gaming like company itself is we don't have to stop. So kind of linger on that for a second. But that's kind of a big thing to know is that they're like, hey, if you guys want this story, we can make this story happen. If people are invested, guess what? We become invested too.
It's always like, we would love another Last of Us, but if you guys feel like we're passionate about something else, we'll support this other thing. Very privileged position to be in. I never take that for granted. I've been just thinking about, okay, is there a concept there? And for now years, I haven't been able to find that concept.
Which is basically saying, hey, like, we've been trying to get like that one story of like, what do we want to have the next game have? What do we want to go and invest into? Like, what's the point? But they just haven't found that golden ticket yet for The Last of Us Part 3.
But recently that's changed, and
speaks for itself.
I don't have a story, but I do have that concept that to me is as exciting as 1, as exciting as 2, is its own thing, and yet has this through line for all 3. So it does feel like there's probably one more chapter to the story.
And if you guys want any other wording for this one, like this is almost like a like you know how sometimes people that have those hyper fans, like those really dedicated folks who they kind of go and dabble and give little teasers and comments on, this is quite literally the perfect example. Or it's like, hey, guess what? We're kind of cooking. We have some ideas, we have some concepts. It took a while, but we might be cooking. So pretty much with that wording right there, and I can replay through it really quick because kind of like skipping on throughout this. But basically, that pretty much confirms The Last of Us Part 3 is probably either in the works or being written or something along those lines. But it also makes a lot of sense too, because what else would they be working on? At this point, there's been no other teasers, trailers, leaks on another game kind of in their ecosystem, and as well with The Last of Us multiplayer being kind of somewhat canceled at this point. What will they want to do next? And well, obviously in the typical, as of now, PlayStation fashion, which I always have my own caveats on, it seems they want to go with what is probably going to work, which would probably be Last of Us Part 3. So let me play this one more time as well.
And for all three. So it does feel like there's probably one more chapter to this story.
And I mean, like, if you got the dramatic guitar going on, you got the interview going on, you're talking about the design process and creative process on Last of Us Part 1 and 2, we could pretty much go and assume this will most likely be coming out in the very, very, well, hopefully sooner rather than later. But either way, we do have that kind of going over here. Very, very nice to go and see. We saw a lot of news articles as well, talking about, like, how they have the game itself, and people are kind of curious on, like, Tommy's story. So they had like a previous interview he gave in where he mentioned he had written a story for Joel's brother Tommy that takes place after the events of The Last of Us Part 2, which also might be kind of like them alluding towards what the story may be focused on, and kind of maybe imagine like a little bit before Last of Us, kind of maybe Tommy, what he's doing throughout like the initial outbreak, into maybe like long term, and then maybe have them rope into other characters. Make a lot of sense. So the headlines across the industry were like, Naughty Dog has outlined The Last of Us Part 3, and that's actually wrong, he clarified. It was always a small story and was never a full title. At the time, we had always prioritized at Naughty Dog to fix our pipeline to work-life balance issues just based on where we were, so we didn't want to go prioritize other stuff too as well. So it's kind of cool. They had a chance for us to go and kind of just like see their internal thoughts and comments on everything with this out below, and I'm very excited to go and see The Last of Us Part 3 in the near future. So it pretty much does like seem like it's pretty much confirmed too as well. We're even seeing like other things like comic books saying like it's been confirmed by Naughty Dog, and well, it just kind of seems nice to go and see. So there's basically a documentary, in case you're curious on where these clips kind of came from, and basically has Neil Druckmann talk about the future of the series, saying that he basically wants to have The Last of Us Part 3 be going and cooking. So all around nice, all around cool, and I like seeing this. Now, last but not least, we've actually been seeing a lot more news too when it comes to Hi-Fi Rush being now data mined, apparently to suggest the Xbox exclusive will come to the PlayStation 5 and the Switch itself. Some data miners have uncovered a new t-shirt designs in Hi-Fi Rush, which could suggest the Xbox console exclusive is coming to PlayStation 5 and Switch, which has been the ongoing rumor for quite some time. Saying rumors have been floating around the internet recently about the Hi-Fi Rush possibly being released on new platforms now. A data miner has found some pretty strong evidence that the Xbox exclusive could indeed be coming to PlayStation 5. Last week, Tango's Gamework has rolled out a new update for Hi-Fi Rush, celebrating the Action Rhythm game's first anniversary, which has also gave it like a 1-year exclusivity on Game Pass and overall Xbox platforms. And the update had added new cosmetics to wear in game, including platform-specific t-shirts for each platform Hi-Fi Rush is currently available on, which does have Xbox, Steam, and the Epic Games Store. And the Xbox shirt is green and references Hi-Fi Rush's Shadow Drop. The gray Epic shirt reads, "This is simply unreal" on Epic. And the black Steam shirt makes reference to the game's overwhelmingly positive user review on the platform. However, they've had 2 more specific shirts were added, with people now data mining it and finding the information, which aren't currently available to actually use in the game. And as data mined by Rantum Kafanti, there is basically a texture for a red shirt that reads "Rock Out Anywhere." So basically thinking like the Switch, portability. And then a blue shirt that says "I'm Here Baby," which could make references to Hi-Fi Rush's platform exclusivity coming to an end. So basically, you guys can have a chance to go and see all these over here too. These are the brand new shirts, which would make a lot of sense. They're like kind of cool. It's like this is referencing Xbox, as you guys can kind of see. I think it's nifty. I mean, it kind of seems like this will be coming to PlayStation and Switch soon. There's been a lot of buzz and speculation surrounding Microsoft bringing its Xbox exclusive games to other platforms, and this new info only fuels those rumors. On top of Hi-Fi Rush supposedly going multi-platform. It's also been a rumor that Microsoft is considering releasing Sea of Thieves 2 as well. So I have to go and see where all these games end up in the next next few weeks, few months, because it does still seem like Xbox is trying to go and branch out their games to every other platform the best they possibly can. So all around really cool news. I love seeing this. I love seeing new games. I love seeing Last of Us Part 3 potentially in the works as we speak. And I appreciate all of you guys for even watching, hanging out, and chilling in my videos in the first place. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below. And of course, sign up for Webull, deposit pretty much any money, just get a bunch of free stock and money, can instantly sell it, withdraw it, whatever. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.